Hello, good evening, namaskar. Am I audible to you? Can you hear me and see me? Just comment yes for both if you can see me and hear me. Wonderful. Thank you. Because if I am audible only, then we can move forward. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today. You have invested about 60 minutes of your Valentine's Day. So it's a big investment. Thank you for this. Now, the structure of today's masterclass I want to share with you. First, a bit about what this global revolution is all about. Then, intro of our global thought leader who would be taking you through the inaugural masterclass. There are certificates for those who participate and stay till the end. And there are three special gifts for the special participants. Okay. So with this, I will start, and it's really a great moment for me to share with you that Life It Up today is evolving as world's first holistic wellness and success organization ecosystem, which is helping leading institutions and organizations build their internal holistic wellness systems. How we are doing that? We are doing that by focusing on six key life pillars: soul, mind, body, career, environment, and charities. And this has become possible by inviting global thought leaders and mentors to come and collaborate with the member institutions and organizations. And then partnerships are happening with leading brands to develop the systems internally. There are certifications coming up and conclaves. There are audits and awards, and there are sought after offsite retreats. And this has come into being with India's leading industry and education leaders coming together and giving this final share. Now, today, the session is from a gentleman who is a multifaceted individual. Now, it becomes more special for us because he is also on our core council, Mr. Vivek Atray. He is an excellent global thought leader. This is numerous engagements he has done so far. An ex-IAS officer with 25 years of glittering public service experience, a very, very sought after motivational speaker with millions of views on his TED and Josh talks, an excellent and noteworthy best-selling author with books like Finding Success Within, It's a Wonderful Life, and very recently, The Middle of Everything. He is a visiting faculty to a prominent university. He is the man behind various think tanks, including Suvichar, Chandigarh Literary Society, Vibrant Networking Forum, and much more. So, without any ado, I would now invite Mr. Vivek Atray on stage. Welcome, sir. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Kapilji. That's a very kind gesture to invite me so warmly. And I'm very happy to be here with Life It Up on this very momentous and great occasion where we are launching an initiative of thought leadership. Very delighted to be involved with this very laudable and noble gesture. I will speak in a mix of English and Hindi, but I'll just begin with a few introductory remarks. As you can see, under my name, it says TEDx Motivational Speaker Ex-IAS. What I'm going to talk about today is a bit linked to this title or this designation that I hold. And it is also linked to my book called Finding Success Within, which Kapilji just introduced. So, all of you who are watching this webinar, this session, whether live or on YouTube later. You may like to understand yourself for yourself. What does success mean to you? And if success means money or power or fame, then obviously the definition of success is incomplete. And it has to be completed with a lot of understanding. And if money and power and fame put together do not lead to success, then what is it that we are really looking for? Let me start by taking the example of a young student who's looking forward to a career and who is going to be looking for a job later. And he or she is to decide the stream, maybe going in for a competitive exam, maybe at the plus two after the 12th class stage, maybe after graduation also. So this student is facing uncertainty, confusion, and not clear as to what will happen in life. Have you heard that story before? All of us have been through the same dilemma, the same process, the same procedure of life. And nobody's sure as to where they're going to end up exactly. Of course, if you are born in the richest family in the world or the top 100 or top 1,000 families of the world, and you know exactly that you're going to be rich and you're going to be spoiled, if I can jokingly say so, then also you may face some impediments, disturbances, speed breakers, uncertain situations. You don't know it, but you might. Most of us are not in that richest list. So we have to go through the process of studies and then interviews, selections, and jobs, and then career. And then career also has changes. Also, some of us may be starting up a company, maybe doing something else, maybe self-employed professionals like CAs or lawyers, etc. But all the young students who we are mentoring, many of us in the audience and this chat or this webinar and this broadcast are those who are already established in our careers. But those we are mentoring are still not clear as to what is going to happen. And if I take my own example, even after 24 years of civil service, as Kapilji mentioned, I resigned and I became a motivational speaker, advisor, mentor, and a professor. So, leadership and people skills and emotional intelligence and success, failure, these are my topics. I did not know that I'm going to be speaking on these topics all the time. I'm going to be a regular speaker. I had no idea. So, uncertainty is a part of life. Evolving situations, they demand us to also evolve. But let me come to the first point that I will advise all professionals to understand and appreciate. What we are looking for is not really a placement only. We are not only looking for our next career hike or jump or leap or whatever it is. We are not only looking for that next agreement or that next announcement or that next venture or that next collaboration. We are not looking only for that. We are looking at the bigger picture. Now here you see my smaller picture because you are on this, I'm on the screen. Let's keep it a little humorous also. We are always on the screen nowadays. You see small frame or big frame. It is either a laptop or a mobile phone, or it's an even smaller screen, or it can be a little bigger TV screen or whatever it is. Or it could be even we're watching a match in the outdoors and there's a huge screen out there. But the bigger picture of life is the biggest picture screen that we can see. And Paramahansa Yogananda, who's the author of the world acclaimed autobiography of a yogi, a great book, spiritual book, not religious, but spiritual. All religions have benefited by reading that book, and it's a bestseller across the world. He said, life is like a motion picture. It's like a movie. And if you see the beam of light coming from the projector in a cinema hall, you will see that that beam is what contains all those images which are being broadcast on the screen or which are being shown on the screen in the cinema hall. This image that you see of me is not me. I am sitting in my studio or my home, and you are sitting in yours or wherever you are, but you see me. It is largely a delusion that we see. You can hear me, you can understand what I'm saying. But if you look at life, life is also a bit like that. We see things, we hear things, we touch things, we feel things, we smell, we have we have five senses. But ultimately, life is about the bigger picture. Now, what is this bigger picture of success that I'm talking about? Because our topic is true success. What is true success? So, I would say that if we really look at the bigger picture, we will understand that we have to feel a certain amount of passion, a certain amount of enthusiasm, a certain amount of gratitude. And if we speak in Hindi, हमें धन्यवादी किस्म का बनना है. हमें एक ऐसा बर्ताव करना है जिसमें हम बैलेंस्ड हो, संतुलित जीवन हो, और उसमें हम खुशी प्राप्त करें, हम जॉय प्राप्त करें, और हमें ये लगे कि हम अंदरूनी तौर पे खुश हैं जो भी हम कर रहे हैं. If you look at the president of the most powerful country in the world, he doesn't look happy. If you look at a Golgappa vendor or a street urchin, could be a boy or girl on the street side whose parents have no money to even to send these children to school, and even if education is free in government schools, they don't send them. But this boy or girl or that Golgappa man or that street vendor is looking more happy than the most powerful, rich, and famous people in the world. There is something beyond material success which we have to understand. So, this is my first point to you. Success doesn't come from externals, it comes from the internal victories. And the internal victories doesn't mean that you're going to sit under a tree and meditate for the rest of your life. Doesn't mean that. You have to win the battle of the job, the career, the salary, the income, the revenue that has to come. And you have to, of course, you need a house, you need a car, you need comfort levels. And in today's society, if you have to think twice before buying something which is reasonably not expensive, or which is being ordered by the kids for whatever they need, then that means you're not at that income level where you need it. But do we need gold-plated cutlery, or do we need a Lamborghini car or a Mercedes, Ferrari, whatever it is? We don't. We need a car. We need a house. We need comforts. But we don't need luxury. There is a saying, and my first quote of the day, not my quote. My quote will also come. My first quote is, 16-year-olds admire people with luxury. Mature people admire people with inner peace. Now, this may sound a bit exaggerated. And a 16-year-old can also be very mature. Even 80-year-olds, sorry to say, may not be mature at times. They may still be walking in the park and talking about gossip or crime or politics, which are not really worth talking about. And no talk of happiness or spirituality or sports or entertainment or music or higher things of life, I would say. So maturity doesn't come with age. But to understand the fact that luxury and material riches are not life is important. So my first story of the day. One monk was sitting under a tree and meditating 24 hours a day. And nobody saw him eating or sleeping. He was sitting outside a village, and that tree was huge, and that monk used to live there and meditate. One man goes to him. He says, Mr. Monk, I think you have a diamond in your bag, झोला, छोटा सा झोला, छोटा सा बैग उसके पास था. And he says, उसमें एक diamond है, वो मुझे आप दे दीजिए, give me that diamond. And this monk, without flinching, without hesitating, not even 1 minute or 1 second of hesitation, he takes out the diamond and, yes, I have a diamond for you, take it. This man takes the diamond and goes. And the monk is still meditating without any sense of remorse, sadness, loss. He's still meditating coolly, peacefully. And this man comes back after 1 week with the diamond. He says, Monk ji, take back this diamond. He says, why? Is it not expensive? The monk says. Don't you think your family will benefit from it? The man says, sir, it is so expensive that I will be the richest man in the region, and my entire generations to come will also be rich. but I don't want it. He said, why? Monk says, why? He says, because I can't sleep at the thought that you gave me this diamond without any hesitation. I asked for the diamond, you gave it to me. It doesn't. Life doesn't work like that. How did you do that? Why did you do that? I want that which made you give me this diamond. आपके पास ऐसा क्या है जो आपने ऐसे मुझे डायमंड दे दिया? Now, this comes the bigger picture. We are all practical people. You, I are practical people, hopefully. And we have our, if you have a phone, you will not like keep throwing it around. You will keep it safeguarded. If you have the keys of your car, you will keep them safely and prudently. Of course, हो सकता है कभी कभी गलती से कहीं कुछ रह जाए. But the point is that we have to be prudent. Yet, we have to see the larger picture of life. I don't need to be too possessive. I don't need to be too much driven by profit, by income, I need to have stability in life. I need to have comforts in life. It is very easy for me to say after years of service and motivational speaking, but I find that youngsters who understand this early in life, and I mentor a lot of younger people today, and they understand, if they understand this, their life becomes joyful and they are able to succeed. Look at the UPSC exam, the IAS exam. You look at candidates coming from left, right, and center in India, and they study hard. Of course, some states like Bihar or Delhi or UP or Rajasthan, etc., they have more candidates and they really work hard. But how many are coming to the IAS or IPS or IRS or whatever? You see in the name written on the screen under my name, you see Vivek Atray, TEDx Motivational Speaker, Ex-IAS. These 3 letters of IAS, Indian Administrative Service. How many people enter? All those who don't enter, they are not failures. I never say that a person who did not succeed in the UPSC exam is a failure. What is success then? Yes, you are successful if you crack the exam, you were selected in the service. But what is failure? I don't think failure is not to not succeed in the UPSC exam. No. You might be more of a success in your life without UPSC, without the civil services. Maybe you would have done better in the civil services also, but maybe you would have done better outside. I quote Amitabh Bachchan's father here a lot, and many of you have heard this quote, Harivansh Rai Bachchan ji. And he used to say to Amitabh Bachchan, वो हमें बताते हैं अब KBC पे और screens पे, मन का हो तो अच्छा, मन का ना हो तो और भी अच्छा. And Harivansh Rai Bachchan said it with some thought. When a child wants to put her finger or his finger into the fire, a 2-year-old child doesn't know what the fire will do to the finger, or even into a heater or an electric current wire. The mother stops the child and says, don't do it, and stops and scares the child away from that place. But the child doesn't know that this was wrong to do that. The child thinks that he wanted something and did not get it. He starts crying or she starts crying. The mother doesn't allow the child to do that. So the Almighty or the universe probably know better than us what is good for us. We might want something, but it may not be good for us. Or there may be something better for us. I think it's very practical to be seeing the bigger picture. It's not impractical. You have to be methodical, hardworking, devoted, and diligent and determined in your work. But you also have to be aware of what is life for. Am I finding inner peace and happiness? Okay, the next point then. In my book, Finding Success Within, I've given 52 life skills, 52 life and career skills. I'll take only 2 or 3 of them here because they're important. I need to increase my emotional intelligence in order to be successful. My intelligence may be high. Your intelligence may be much higher than my intelligence. IQ levels can vary. And if you look at IQ levels today, I mean, the Mensa score or whatever the IQ score is, I think the whole of humanity probably has higher IQ than people had in the past. Maybe in future we'll have even higher IQ, people coming later. What about EQ? Somebody who is unwell and then became, he came to office and he's sitting on his desk, but he's not well or he's feeling low. A youngster sitting on the screen and feeling low and crying and maybe working but not feeling good today. The next youngster who's on another screen in the office is working, doesn't have the inclination or the time to even talk to this neighbor and ask, why is it that you are looking a little low today? And notices that this person is even crying today. That person who is not even bothering to notice your neighbor has low emotional intelligence. Of course, you have to work, you have to look at your own laptop, and you have to be very hardworking, no doubt. But to notice others and to understand that they are going through some crisis or some happiness, also it could be, is human. We have to be human. Now, this is the era of AI. We say, oh, intelligence is very important, AI is very important, artificial intelligence is very important. I say that AI is available to everybody. I have a couple of TEDx talks on this subject, AI versus human intelligence. AI is available to everybody. But what is the differentiator? आप क्यों सक्सेसफुल हैं और दूसरा क्यों नहीं है? AI तो सबके पास है, चैट जीपीटी सबके पास है, बहुत सी चीजें हैं AI में, ग्रॉक है, ये है, वो है, जो भी है. एक व्यक्ति सक्सेसफुल, एक कम सक्सेसफुल. तो क्या है डिफरेंशिएटर? अगर एक चीज सबको अवेलेबल है तो वो तो डिफरेंशिएटर नहीं है, वो तो दैट इज इक्वल फॉर ऑल. माय ह्यूमन leadership skills, understanding, empathy, decision making ability, conversation skills, listening ability, my emotional intelligence is a composite of all these. ये सब चीजें मिला के emotional intelligence is the ability to handle people and situations in a calm and balanced manner. ये समझना कि कैसे हैंडल करना है पीपल एंड सिचुएशंस को, वो इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस. मान लीजिए आपको गुस्सा आ रहा है, लेकिन आपने गुस्सा नहीं किया. गुस्सा आपको आ रहा था, आप कुछ बोल देते किसी को, लेकिन आपने नहीं बोला. कोई कहेगा कि मुझे गुस्सा आ रहा था तो मुझे निकाल देना चाहिए ताकि मेरा मन हल्का हो जाए और मेरी तबीयत नहीं तो खराब हो जाएगी अंदर ही अंदर गुस्सा रखने से. It doesn't work like that. I would say that if you control your anger, you go for a run later, or you go for boxing later, or you go for sports later, you are much better off. Because you're a regular sportsman, you will anyway feel less angry. If you're watching only Netflix, then you will feel more angry because you're sitting and you're not burning out your energy. That workout is very important. So, if you're feeling like losing your cool and you don't lose your cool, your emotional intelligence is high because you understand that losing my temper is not beneficial for me or for anyone else. Fear, worry, anxiety, anger are negative emotions. Now, sometimes we can't help anxiety. Anxiety is about anxious होना किसी चीज के लिए, ये ना हो जाए, वो ना हो जाए. लेकिन कुछ लोग ऐसे होते हैं जो बड़े कूल से होते हैं और कुछ लोग होते हैं जो ज्यादा वरी करते हैं. सेम सिचुएशन. अब ट्रेन लेट हो रही है, फ्लाइट लेट हो रही है तो सभी के लिए हो रही है. ठीक है, जिसकी कनेक्टिंग फ्लाइट है वो ज्यादा वरीड हो रहा है, लेकिन जिसकी कनेक्टिंग फ्लाइट है हो सकता है वो कम वरीड हो रहा है, और जिसकी कनेक्टिंग फ्लाइट थोड़ी बाद में है, जिसके पास काफी टाइम है, वो ज्यादा वरीड हो रहा है कि ये लेट क्यों हो रही है. इट इज आवर टेम्परामेंट विच मैटर्स. तो इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस बढ़ाने के लिए और अच्छी आदतें डालने के लिए हमें अपने आप को वॉच करना पड़ेगा. A successful person is one who understands his mindset, that I have these drawbacks, I have these infirmities, ये कमियां हैं मेरे अंदर, और ये कमियां जो हैं वो मैं किसी ना किसी तरह इनको कंट्रोल करूं. तो ये जो कमियां हैं, मान लीजिए परफेक्ट तो कोई नहीं है. मैं कई बार अपनी टॉक्स में कहता हूं नोबडी इज परफेक्ट, बट वी कैन इंप्रूव. इफ यू हैव अ सर्टेन ड्रॉबैक लाइक रेस्टलेस है आप, या आपके अंदर एक वरी की टेंडेंसी है, एक फियर करने, वरी या डरने की टेंडेंसी है, या गुस्सा करने की है, उसको हम कम तो कर सकते हैं. और हमारी जो अच्छी चीजें उनको बढ़ा सकते हैं. I don't think there is any problem there. It is quite possible to do that. So let us try to do that. I think it is possible to do that. Let us see where we are with the mind. And संडे को आपने, I often say, संडे को आपने राजमा चावल खाए और आप बैठ गए. Some people here maybe from across India with different diets. So you had your sambar chawal or whatever you had. And then I believe in the South, in fact, sambar is not the right pronunciation. It is sambar. That's what I'm told. I may be wrong even now. But whatever you had for lunch on Sunday, spend 20 minutes after that, before you doze off for your siesta, to think about life and think about your mind. Where are you at this moment? What are you thinking at the moment? Are you absolutely cool and calm these days, or are you losing your cool unnecessarily? Emotional intelligence has many facets. डैनियल गोल्डमैन इसके गुरु हैं, और वो गुरु जो है उन्होंने 7 एस्पेक्ट्स बताए हैं. उसमें हम डिटेल में थ्योरी में नहीं जाएंगे. अपने आप को समझना, दूसरों को समझना, एम्पैथी रखना, all these things are part of emotional intelligence. But you will find that people who are cool and calm, they also have more respect. More respect is possible for those who are cool and calm. तो cool and calm रहना आपके लिए जरूरी है. कूल एंड काम रहने से हम लोग को ज्यादा गुडविल मिलता है और लोग हमारी कंपनी पसंद करते हैं. ये मुझे तो नहीं चाहिए कि 40 आदमी मेरे पीछे पड़े हों कि आपकी कंपनी बहुत अच्छी है, लेकिन हमें लोगों को दुखी करने में तो आनंद नहीं आना चाहिए. या इफ यू रियलाइज दैट यू आर अ डिफिकल्ट पर्सन टू बी विद, समथिंग हैज टू बी इम्प्रूव्ड. लेट्स कम टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट एंड लेट मी स्टार्ट विद अ स्टोरी. इट्स अ फनी स्टोरी. It's a hilarious story, and I like to tell this story many times, so I'm sharing it with you. And this story is about Amitabh Bachchan and Rajnikant. अब तक आपने जान लिया होगा कि Amitabh Bachchan is my favorite, and Rajnikant is also my favorite because I have met him and I've been lucky to record a video with him, also interview with him with one of the senior monks of Self-Realization Fellowship, and Rajnikant, who follows the teachings of Self-Realization Fellowship, which was launched by Paramahansa Yogananda. So Rajnikant ji and Amitabh Bachchan ji were having a little friendly argument. ये स्टोरी है, जोक है, तो इसको सीरियसली नहीं लेना, लेकिन इसमें से कुछ निकलेगा. तो वो दोनों आपस में बात कर रहे हैं कि आप ज्यादा फेमस हैं वर्ल्ड में या मैं हूं. तो रजनीकांत ने कहा, देखिए मुझे तो सब लोग जानते हैं दुनिया में. अमिताभ बच्चन कहते हैं, आपको टॉम क्रूज जानता है? Tom Cruise actor, a famous actor in America. He said, yeah, Tom Cruise is my friend. He said, really? Prove it. Amitabh Bachchan says, prove it. So they take the next flight and they fly from Bombay to Los Angeles in America. और वहां पहुंच जाते हैं और सुबह सुबह 7 बजे वो टॉम क्रूज के घर पहुंच जाते हैं, घंटी बजा देते हैं without telling him that they're coming. And both of them are standing there, and Tom Cruise bichara is sleeping, and he comes out and sees Rajni. He says, oh, Rajni, you have come. You should have told me you're coming. Oh, anyway, let's have coffee, breakfast here. So he recognizes them and he welcomes them. Both of them have breakfast with Tom Cruise. Amitabh Bachchan is very impressed. And then Amitabh Bachchan says, do you know the President of the United States also? So Rajnikant says, yes, I know the president. And that time, Mr. Obama was the president, not the present one. So Mr. Obama was the president, and he decides that we will go and meet Mr. Obama. Amitabh Bachchan is super impressed. They go there, but they have to stand in the line outside White House to buy the tickets. So Amitabh Bachchan realizes that Rajnikant doesn't know maybe Mr. Obama that well. Otherwise, he would have been welcomed by Mr. Obama's team. But when they are standing in the line, Mr. Obama is on the rounds in his lawns with people, and he sees them. He says, oh, Rajnikant is standing in the line outside. Please call him inside. And call his tall friend also. ये जो लंबे से उनके दोस्त हैं, इनको भी बुला लीजिए साथ में. कौन है पता नहीं. अमिताभ बच्चन तो बहुत इम्प्रेस हो जाते हैं और बराक ओबामा उनको चाय पिलाते हैं, कॉफी पिलाते हैं लॉन्स में, और स्नैक्स और ये वो, और बड़ा हाई टी टाइप्स, एंड वेरी हैप्पी. And Amitabh Bachchan is very impressed now. He says, Rajnikant, you are amazing. Rajnikant, do you know the Pope also? He says, yes, I know the Pope. So they fly to Vatican City, जहाँ पे पोप रहते हैं इटली में, रोम के अंदर ही वेटिकन सिटी है। ये स्टोरी बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि जो मैं बता रहा हूं आपको इसमें आ रहा है। तो ये वहां पहुंचते हैं और वहां पे मास होने वाला है, पोप साहब जो हैं वो आने वाले हैं बालकनी में, और what is happening is that 10,000 people have gathered in the square of Vatican, and they reach there, and Amitabh Bachchan said, "Oh, we have to wait now. ये 10,000 लोग हैं, अभी कहाँ मिलेंगे पोप को जाके?" तो इसे नहीं नहीं रजनीकांत साहब आप चिंता मत करो अमित, आप यहाँ रुको, मैं मिल के आता हूँ, मुझे आपको अलाउ नहीं करेंगे, मुझे अलाउ करेंगे। And Pope is about to appear on the balcony of the Vatican, and Rajnikant somehow talks to the guards and all, and they allow him, and he goes to the balcony and meets the Pope. Everybody is watching. That two people are there on the balcony today. Normally only the Pope is there, but then Rajnikant is Rajnikant. वो भी पहुंच जाते हैं और वहां पे वो उनको मिलते हैं. And they meet the Pope. And Mr. Rajnikant waves like a leader, state leader with the Pope, and he comes back. And when he comes back, Amitabh Bachchan has fainted. And people are like around, but Amitabh Bachchan is lying on the ground. Rajnikant feels worried. He says, Amit, please wake up, wake up. Amitabh Bachchan wakes up. He's fine. He says, Amit, you fainted. You should have seen me on the balcony. He says, I saw you. He said, that's why you fainted, because you saw me on the balcony with the Pope. He said, no. Amitabh Bachchan said, no. That's not why I fainted. He says, an Italian man was standing next to me who asked me, who is that on the balcony with Rajnikant? Now, Amitabh Bachchan fainted because of this question. Now, in this joke or this, of course, it's a joke, don't take it seriously. And Mr. Rajnikant is my favorite along with Amitabh Bachchan. So I want to praise both of them. You see, we have to understand what is success. Rajnikant and Amitabh Bachchan are both successful. Whether one knows the Pope or one knows Obama, or whether one knows somebody else or doesn't know somebody else, is not real success. It is not real success. आपके फोन बुक में कितने नंबर हैं और कितने नाम है, इससे आपका सक्सेस नहीं पहचाना जा सकता. You may have all the Shah Rukh Khans and Sachin Tendulkar's numbers. It doesn't mean that you are super successful. It doesn't mean anything. You may be. It may be very fashionable. It may be great. If you have Sachin Tendulkar's number, you're not going to tell everybody the number. You're not going to tell everybody कि मेरे पास Sachin Tendulkar का number है. So there is no real reason for us to gloat and feel too high and mighty about ourselves. False sense of pride का होना एक successful आदमी की निशानी नहीं है. Humility is a great quality of the great. So I would say Dr. Manmohan Singh, or any world leader who was, let's say, PhD or a doctorate, and somebody who was fantastic in his abilities, but still humble. And humble means humble to the core. And the example that you can give of Nelson Mandela, great people, Dr. Abdul Kalam, people who were so great in the modern world, humble. Let's come to Sam Manekshaw, Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw. Now, Sam Manekshaw was the army chief when India won the Bangladesh war in 71. The Bangladesh army surrendered not because of anybody else, but because of Sam Manekshaw. He gave the assurance to the Bangladeshis that we will look after your soldiers, or we will look after you. And रेडियो पे उनकी अनाउंसमेंट आई और सारी बांग्लादेश आर्मी ने हथियार डाल दिए. 90,000 लोग सरेंडर नहीं करते हैं जब तक वो गिने चुने 5-10 ना रह जाए. सरेंडर कोई नहीं करता है, लड़ते रहते हैं आखिर तक. लेकिन 90,000 लोगों ने सरेंडर किया, फर्स्ट एंड लास्ट टाइम इन हिस्ट्री, बिकॉज ऑफ सैम मैनेकशॉ's assurance and the credibility, humility. और उसके बाद भी उन्होंने जो बात की उनसे वो पक्की बात थी. उनको अरेस्ट किया, उनको जो भी अपनी गिरफ्त में लिया, उनको बैरक्स में रखा, उनको अच्छी सहूलियत दी, फैसिलिटीज दी. एंड द पाकिस्तान एंड बांग्लादेश आर्मीज रिस्पेक्टेड द आर्मी चीफ ऑफ इंडिया so much because of what he was, and he was a great man. There's another story that he did not get his pension, and Dr. Abdul Kalam जो प्रेसिडेंट थे उनको मिले और उन्होंने पेंशन दिलाई. वो हमारे सिस्टम की कमियां हैं और ग्रेट लोगों की बातें हैं. Now, next point. Who is a role model? Who is your role model? You think you are 40 years old now, or 30 years old, or whatever you are, and you are established in your career. You don't need a role model. I think we all need role models. I think we all need to have somebody to look up to, somebody to aspire towards. कि ये मेरा रोल मॉडल है, ये मेरा हीरो है, ये मेरा कोई ना कोई ऐसा है जिसकी तरह मैं बनना चाहता हूं. अगर आप 2 साल के बच्चे को देखोगे तो वो 5 साल की जो सिस्टर या ब्रदर है उसके जैसा बनना चाहता है. जो 10 साल का बच्चा है वो 12-15 साल के जो सिबलिंग है या दीदी भैया whatever they want to be like that. But when we grow older we become cynical. We don't want role models. We want models only. We don't want role models. We become, I know everything. I'm a model. I'm super successful. I'm very smart. I'm very good. I'm very whatever. No. There is always somebody ahead of us. एक बार दिलीप कुमार जा रहे थे फ्लाइट में और उनके साथ जा रहे थे एक बहुत ही बड़े बिजनेस पर्सन. उनको पता नहीं था ये कौन है साथ बैठे. और जब वो साथ जो जा रहे थे उनको उन्होंने फ्लाइट में बैठे हुए सब लोगों ने आके दिलीप कुमार की ऑटोग्राफ ली. उस टाइम ऑटोग्राफ होती थी, सेल्फी नहीं होती थी. ऑटोग्राफ ली सभी फ्लाइट में, सभी ने. पायलट भी एक एक करके आए, को पायलट को छोड़ के, और सब ने दिलीप कुमार की ऑटोग्राफ ली. वो ग्रेट एक्टर थे, हीरो थे. और ये जो उनके साथ बैठे थे ग्रेट बिजनेसमैन, कौन थे उनको पता नहीं. वो कुछ इनको अटेंशन नहीं दे रहे थे दिलीप कुमार को. सो दैट पर्सन हु वाज सिटिंग नेक्स्ट टू हिम वाज रीडिंग अ बुक. And Dilip Kumar was not bothered about these 100 people who are coming to take his autograph. He was bothered about this one person sitting next to him who is not paying him any attention. So he looks at this person again and again, but this person is reading. So after a long time, he feels compelled, he feels a need कि इसको तो बताना पड़ेगा मैं कौन. So Dilip Kumar taps this person on the shoulder. He says, listen, excuse me. He says, I'm Dilip Kumar. So that person says, he puts his book away and he says, nice to meet you. So he starts reading his book again. Dilip Kumar is quite, he's quite surprised. This man didn't even react. He says, excuse me, I'm an actor. He says, oh, that's nice. And again, he starts reading his book, the other person. Now Dilip Kumar cannot resist. He says, excuse me, who are you? What is your name? He says, my name is J.R.D. Tata. Now, J.R.D. Tata was one of the greatest industrialists of India. And of course, he was the mentor of Ratan Tata, not the father or relative of Ratan Tata. He was one of the founders of the Tata Sons. J.R.D. Tata's father, perhaps Jamshedji Tata, was the one who was the founder. Now, Dilip Kumar realized that there is somebody above me, somebody more important than me, somebody who I can look up to. If Dilip Kumar could have a role model, you and I can have a role model. So we need to have someone to look up to. You find anyone. आजकल कम मिलते हैं लोग ऐसे, लेकिन फिर भी मिल जाएंगे. पेरेंट्स है, ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स हैं, कोई और है, कोई साइंटिस्ट है, कोई स्पोर्ट्समैन है. स्पोर्ट्स में बहुत सारे रोल मॉडल्स होते हैं. Some of the greatest inspiring stories come from there. I'm going to close my talk in a little while, and we're going to have a short interaction in which Kapil Ji will come. I wish Kapil Dev was also coming. But the point is that we are going to have that interaction after a little while. So I'm going to close with a couple of points. I've already told you that the purpose of life is not money, power, and fame. The purpose of life is the inner success. The life success is true success, which is inner peace. Yes, we need enough money, enough power, enough popularity. But if you have all the Instagram followers in the world, you may still not be happy. So that is something you need to realize. And now I am on your webinar. I have been traveling to speak. I'm going here and there. Kapil Ji has called me here. So I can feel very proud of myself, but I shouldn't. I should remain humble. So that's the next point. And emotional intelligence, which we talked about, will give you success, will give you a lot of calmness, health. And if you meditate, if you're physically fit, if you are creative, and if you are cheerful, if you read books, all these habits will make your life better. So I think successful people have good habits, and but we are not perfect. We may have a little bit of shortcomings. Nobody's perfect. We can improve. So I talked about improvement. and I talked about some stories and examples. So let us get together. Let us be determined together to succeed in the true meaning of life. And that true meaning is to find that success within ourselves. And whatever happens outside should not affect us that much. Watching reels after reels will only give you a headache. It will not give you calmness and happiness. Spending time outdoors, fitness, meditation, cheerful company, good coffee, chai bhi theek hai. All these things will help in becoming and making you a good, happy person. And you must be hardworking. You must be decisive. Confusion is part of life, as I said, but you can get over it by and by. So I think this is a good point to pause and stop. And I hope I was able to give you some good points for your life ahead. I know some of you are already established professionals, some may be just starting out. It is something that I wanted to share with you, these kinds of tips, ideas. And this initiative by Life It Up, it is fabulous because thought leadership is something that the world needs. And thought we all have, but leadership is something that the world needs even more. Thank you very much, and over to Kapil.
थैंक यू विवेक जी, दिस वाज एब्सोल्युटली फैंटास्टिक। बहुत ही प्रेरणा से भरपूर बातें आपने बताई, बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरीज, इंस्पायरिंग स्टोरीज। और इस बीच हमारे अटेंडीज ने काफी इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल भी पूछे हैं और जिनका जवाब ऑडियंस में मौजूद एजुकेशन लीडर्स, कंपनी प्रोफेशनल सबको मदद करेगा। तो हम सवाल ले लेते हैं जल्दी से, और
जी,
सवालों के ठीक बाद हम सर्टिफिकेशन का लिंक भी लाइव कर देंगे। आई मीन द ऑडियंस नीड्स टू क्लिक एंड रजिस्टर सो दैट देयर सर्टिफिकेट कैन बी सेंट टू देम। सवाल लेते हैं। सो पहला सवाल जो है वो ये है कि हमें नॉलेज तो है सारी, मगर हमें किस पॉइंट से स्टार्ट करनी है अपनी जो रियल सक्सेस दैट लाइज विद इन, दैट बिगिंस विद इन, उसकी शुरुआत किस पॉइंट से करें?
दैट्स अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। आई थिंक पॉइंट हमारा जो अभी है, जहां पे भी हम हैं, इट इज सेड दैट बेटर लेट देन नेवर। तो अभी जो जहां पे हम हैं वहीं पे हमें शुरू करनी पड़ेगी है, क्योंकि हम लोग ये सोचते हैं भाई परसों शुरू करेंगे, नेक्स्ट ईयर शुरू करेंगे, तो नहीं बात बनेगी। आई थिंक वी नीड टू पॉज एंड रिफ्लेक्ट ऑन वेयर वी आर नाउ। सम somehow, of course, you know yourself the best, जो भी सवाल पूछ रहे हैं बाकी लोग भी, क्या हो सकता है कि हम अपनी पॉजिटिव्स और नेगेटिव्स की लिस्ट बना लें, that these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses. It's called a SWOT analysis, वो कर लें। और उस एनालिसिस से हमें पता चल जाएगा किस चीजों को हमें और बढ़ाना है। जैसे मान लीजिए आप बड़े अंडरस्टैंडिंग और एम्पथेटिक है एनिमल्स के प्रति, एनिमल्स को आप बहुत ध्यान रखते हैं, आजकल जेनजी मिलेनियल्स बहुत ध्यान रखते हैं एनिमल्स का। तो जोकिंगली कई बार हम उनको कहते हैं कि थोड़ा बहुत ध्यान ह्यूमन बींग्स का भी रख लीजिए। सो दिस कुड बी योर टेंडेंसी, that you are very very much into the animal welfare, but you are not as graceful towards human beings who matter, who are in your life. Looking after animals is a great activity, it's a great act of empathy, but also be kind to human beings. So this is just an example I'm giving. हो सकता है कि आज से जो सक्सेस की बात आपने की वो शुरू तब होगी जब मैं अपने आप को थोड़ा सा अंडरस्टैंड करूंगा। मे बी आई एम नॉट एज मेथोडिकल एज आई शुड बी, maybe I'm not as organized as I should, punctual as I should. ये चीजें थोड़ी 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 हम करके, मेरी बुक में फाइंडिंग सक्सेस विद इन में इसके टिप्स हैं टाइम मैनेजमेंट वगैरह पे और हमारे डिसिप्लिन पे। और एक बुक है बड़ी अच्छी जेम्स क्लियर की, विच इज एटॉमिक हैबिट्स बाय जेम्स क्लियर, विच इज अ वेरी पॉपुलर बुक। तो इन चीजों को पढ़ के थोड़ा सा आप असेसमेंट करके आगे बढ़िए।
सो मुझे लग रहा है कि फॉर द ऑडियंस टू गेट अ डिटेल्ड स्टेप बाय स्टेप प्रोसेस, फाइंडिंग सक्सेस विद इन शुड बी अ गुड लॉन्च पैड।
It
एंड
can be. I've given a lot of tips and it's a very simple read, so why not?
so, and I must tell that this is going to be the special gift to our top three participants, your book, which is quite a bestseller. Second question is actually around being consistent. You know, हमें कई बार जोश आता है, हम बड़े इंस्पायर होते हैं, वी आर रियली pepped up to commence the journey। एक दिन दो दिन, जैसे जिम जाने के लिए स्नीकर्स और दुनिया भर का टायर हम इकट्ठा करते हैं, मगर जब एक दो बार वापस लौटते हैं सिपर हाथ में पकड़ के, तो लगता है कि अब बस जकड़न अकड़न हो गई है, अब नहीं जाएंगे। तो कंसिस्टेंट कैसे रहना है, ये बहुत जरूरी है, ताकि हम अपने लक्ष्य तक पहुंच पहुंच सकते
I really like this word जकड़न अकड़न, very nice, कपिल जी. मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि कंसिस्टेंसी कम्स विद पैशन. मैं ये, आज वैलेंटाइंस डे है तो वैलेंटाइंस डे की बात तो होनी जरूरी है. देखिए, अगर आपका किसी के प्रति क्रश है, या यू आर इन लव विद समवन, और यू आर सपोज टू बी इन लव विद समवन, you will be consistently thinking of that person. If you are in, you have just fallen in love yesterday, then you will be thinking of that person all the time. Because you are in love with that person, you will be consistent in thinking of that person. Now, if you are in love with tennis, you will always be passionate about tennis. आपकी कोई कंसिस्टेंसी कमी नहीं आएगी उसमें, क्योंकि आपका उसमें एक पैशन है. आपको अगर एक खाना अच्छा लगता है तो आप कंसिस्टेंटली वो खाएंगे. तो ये एग्जांपल्स मैं इसलिए दे रहा हूं कि जो चीज आपको पसंद है वो आप कंसिस्टेंटली कर सकते हैं. जो चीज आपको पसंद नहीं है वो कंसिस्टेंटली तभी करेंगे जब बहुत ही सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन होगा. अब जिम अगर आपको पसंद नहीं है और आप फिट होने के लिए कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आप ये देख रहे हैं कि आपकी लाइफ में फिटनेस की क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है, और आप चाहते हैं कि आप फिट हों, आपको ललक है, यर्निंग है, यू हैव दैट क्वेस्ट फॉर फिटनेस, you will be consistent. And you don't need new shoes to be consistent. You need only that fire from within. And maybe there is another reason to go to the gym. Your Valentine to be is there. कोई बात नहीं, वो भी हो जाएगा. But that that desire has to be there. If mama tells you to have, वो हम छोटे बच्चे थे कपिल जी, तो हमें एक वाटर बरीज कंपाउंड मिलता था. आई डोंट नो आपको मिलता था या नहीं. एक टॉनिक मिलता था हमें, तो वो हमें नहीं चाहिए होता था, लेकिन मम्मी हमें कंसिस्टेंटली पिलाती रहती थी. तो उनको पता था कि इन बच्चों के लिए अच्छा है. तो आई थिंक कंसिस्टेंसी कम्स फ्रॉम बीइंग पैशनेट अबाउट समथिंग. यू कांट फोर्स इट.
हैं। बिल्कुल ठीक है, बिल्कुल ठीक है। और इसी से जुड़ा एक प्रश्न और लेंगे, आई थिंक 3 शुड बी डिसीजन नंबर। अब आपने शुरुआत कर दी, यू बिगेन योर जर्नी, यू आर कंसिस्टेंटली मूविंग अहेड, एंड देन लाइफ टेक्स ओवर, लाइफ थ्रोज डिफरेंट चैलेंजेस एट यू, और उनमें से एक चैलेंज है फेलियर। चाहे वो इंस्टीट्यूशन में, आपकी कंपनी में, घर पे, किसी तरह का फेलियर आता है और आपको अपने रास्ते से वो डिगा देता है, ट्रैक से बाहर कर देता है। तो इस सूरत में कैसे मोटिवेटेड रहना है ताकि जो कंसिस्टेंसी चल रही थी उसमें ज्यादा रुकावट ना आए और आप चलते रहें?
आई थिंक ये क्या होता है कपिल जी, के ये जानना जरूरी है सभी को कि लाइफ इज नॉट स्मूथ एंड प्रिडिक्टेबल. यू हैव टू टेक द रफ विद द स्मूथ. कभी अप, कभी डाउन, कभी मूड हाई, कभी नहीं, कभी इंडिया जीता, कभी हार गया, कभी अब इंडिया हार गया और हम दुखी हो रहे हैं. दुखी कितनी देर के लिए हो रहे हैं? It's a game of chance, it's a game of performance, but it is also unpredictable. Some people are into stock markets, I am not. Stock market down हो गई जी, अच्छा दुखी हो गए, चलो जी, that is your job or your work, and obviously you are affected by it. But how long will you keep that low feeling with you? I think you should bounce back each time. So one of my books is known as दुबे जी bounces back. अब वो दुबे जी बाउंस बैक कैसे करेंगे जब तक वो उनमें हिम्मत नहीं होगी? जो भी सिचुएशन आई, आप उसको आज तक तो रख लीजिए अपने मन में, कल सुबह नहीं होनी चाहिए वो. और अगर बहुत बड़ी कोई सिचुएशन है फेलियर की, या बहुत दुखी हुए आप, तो 5-6 दिन रख लीजिए उसको. उसके बाद 7वें दिन आप वो क्या होता है, सूरज का 7वां घोड़ा, या जो भी 7th डे पे आप एकदम चमकदार धूप को देखते हुए उठिए एंड गो फॉर इट. डोंट कीप योरसेल्फ लो ऑल द टाइम.
बिल्कुल ठीक है। आई थिंक ये बहुत ही इंसाइटफुल एक प्रैक्टिकल टिप है। और जैसे आपने कहा, मुझे याद आया हमारे जो कोर 6 पिलर हैं, which actually are going to be the building blocks. तो अमूमन सोल, माइंड, बॉडी की बात की जाती है। यहाँ पे हमने 3 और जोड़े हैं, which makes us different worldwide: करियर, एनवायरनमेंट एंड चैरिटीज। आई थिंक अपने इंटरनल एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट को डी क्लटर कैसे करना है, ये भी एक बड़ा पहलू है कि आप जब कल सुबह उठे तो आपका मेंटल बैगेज का भी डिटॉक्स हो चुका हो। So this is a very helpful point.
I
ठीक है.
think this is a very important point, Kapilji. In this, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
तो प्लीज आप कंप्लीट करें.
मैं कह रहा हूँ कि this is a very important point. We are leading very cluttered lives because of social media, because frenzy of activity. बहुत कुछ हो रहा है. पहले बड़ी धीरे धीरे चीजें होती थी और धीरे धीरे सब कुछ हुआ था. अब मैं एज अ स्पीकर आई ट्रैवल सो मच, एक अब यही नहीं याद रहता कहाँ जा रहे हैं. So much is happening. So clutter is something which we have to consciously reduce. और आजकल एक चीज आ गई है, मिनिमलिस्टिक लिविंग. दैट मीन्स
एब्सोल्युटली.
बेसिकली सिंपलिस्टिक, सिंपल लिविंग. गांधी जी के पास क्या होता था रूम में, सबको पता है. गांधी जी वारदा आश्रम में रहते थे. और ऑटोबायोग्राफी ऑफ योगी, जिस किताब का मैंने शायद जिक्र भी किया, परमहंस योगानंदा, ही सेड that Gandhi ji had only one writing table in his room and a bed. वो शायद बेड भी नीचे ही था, चार्ट जो भी टाट पे सोते थे. तो there was nothing in his room, and he didn't need it because he had very simple clothing and very simple lifestyle. We can have a minimum few things, of course, but we don't need to clutter our space in the house as well as the space in our mind. And physical space and mental space are linked, as you know very well. हमारा माइंड उस पर रिएक्ट करता है. और आपकी जो 10 चीजें हो रही हैं एक दिन में, उनमें से आप 10 में से 6 भी कर देंगे, उनको 4 को हटा दीजिए. 60-40 रेशियो रख लीजिए उसका. 60% तो आप कर लेंगे, संभाल लेंगे. सो कॉन्शियसली वी हैव टू डीक्लटर, कपिल जी.
बिल्कुल ठीक है. सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you so much, Vivek ji, for this wonderful, insightful, inspiring, and practical tips laden session. And with this, I'll ask my team to just post the certificate registration link so that the attendees can give their name and all, and the teams can send their certificates. And we will also share with you the most active participants so that finding success within का dispatch हम उन top 3 participants को कर सकें.
Congratulations in advance, and all those who attended. I'm happy that you could attend. Those who will watch on YouTube later, welcome to the podcast later, but all the best in life. Thank you,
So
Kapil
with
ji.
this, thank you, Vivek ji. So with this, I will not hold the attendees because it's a Valentine's Day, and somebody's Valentine's will be waiting somewhere. I don't know. So, but then they invested their 60 minutes plus, and so did you, and all of us. It has been really fantastic. And with this, I am thankful to you and all the attendees, and look forward to meeting, you and our fast expanding membership base attendees in future also. Till then, goodbye. अपना ख्याल रखें और होलिस्टिक सक्सेस की यात्रा पर काम करते रहें. थैंक यू. नमस्कार.
Thank you.